Hey guys, how y'all doing today? This is Darren coming to you live from St. Louis, Missouri. Once again, if you guys don't know who I am and you haven't been to my channel before, well, now you know. This is Darren from Buckner Family Travels, and on this channel we talk about how myself, along with my son and my wife and my dog Tank, we're going to be moving to South Africa, and we are working on getting our retirement visas in South Africa. I'm here in St. Louis, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what it takes and just how hard it is and the sacrifices you got to make in order to get there. Hey, how y'all doing, folks? All right, bro. Hey, sister, how you doing? Hey, little one, how you doing? Your little pretty self, huh? So, anyway, guys, I am standing here in front of one of the properties I purchased here in St. Louis, Missouri. And you guys know currently I am living in Florida, Destin, Florida. That's where my wife and my son are. Now, St. Louis is where I'm from originally. So, I figured if I was going to go any place, I have a lot of family here, a lot of friends here. If I was going to invest in some property, it just made the most sense to come and invest in a city that I already know, a city of family I already have, friends and whatnot. I do have property in other places, but like I said, yeah, what's going on? Holla at me later. I'm in the YouTube live right now. Hey, but you'll see me when our truck is here. I'm usually here. Okay. So, anyway, guys, yeah, that was just somebody, a neighbor. He was asking me how many more properties I have. Well, I guess that tells you a lot right there. What I'm here to do is I'm going to talk to you about what it's going to take in order to get a retirement visa. This is just part of it. This is the income part and how we are going to take money from this property and we're going to use it as retirement income. We're going to talk about, like I said, some of the sacrifices it takes. Hey, if you haven't followed us, just go ahead and follow us right now. I am live, and I am coming from St. Louis, Missouri. And I know there's really not anybody on right now, but for you guys who do end up joining me, and for you guys who are watching it, make sure you type in replay. Type in replay so I know that you were watching. Type in the replay, I know that you were watching. So for you guys who are on live, just hit a thumbs up button because I want to get the algorithm going, get people watching. Just help me out. Help me out because this is a serious thing we're going to be doing. I'm giving good information and I'm going to be showing you guys how I am about to generate income for my family and retirement in the wonderful Johannesburg, South Africa. Who knows? I might end up in Durban, might end up in Cape Town, but right now it's Johannesburg, South Africa. I see somebody just type replay. Believe it or not, you're live. So if you're watching this later on, yeah, it'll probably be replay. But you're live right now. I'm live. So if you are looking right now and it's not quite 7 o'clock in South Africa and it's about 12 o'clock here in St. Louis, Missouri, here in the USA, if you're on right now, you are live and you're watching us. And I'm going to show you guys real quick. This is the block. In case you guys didn't know, St. Louis is one of the oldest brick cities in the United States of America. Bricks were made here. We're right off of the Mississippi River, which is one of the largest and longest rivers in the entire world. So it made it natural for this to be the type of city where people would get bricks from or anything because it could be transported up and down the Mississippi River. So you'll find that a lot of homes in St. Louis are made of brick. And I know when you go to Africa, a lot of the homes are made of concrete. And I hear a lot of people say, hey man, why do you guys build homes out of wood so much in America? That is true, but that seems to be more in the southern parts of America where lumber is plentiful. But here, they were using brick. So when I say brick, I'm not talking about just a little, almost 4 stories because they have basements, so that's below grade. And then they have the main floor, they have a second floor, and even the third floor. Like those houses I'm pointing at behind me, some of those homes are 6 bedrooms, 6 bedrooms. So these homes were huge, and well, they're still huge. These homes were built a long time ago. This particular home I am showing you that we purchased, this home was built, I believe, in 1920. And that's just what the tax records say. It could have been built before that because the records weren't always perfect back then. But this home, look, it was abandoned, needed a lot of work. But the good thing is I have the skills, the knowledge, the know-how, and fortunately, even though I'm 50, I still have the energy to work on these homes. These homes had wood floors, fireplaces. It was natural for it to have this kind of stuff. Like I said, I'm not sure how clear the picture is. I know the light is real weird, but believe it or not, a lot of these ceilings were destroyed. We had to come in here and we had to fix ceilings. We had to add a bathroom because this house only had one bathroom. And in America, it's common to have two bathrooms or more because of the family sizes. So we actually added a bathroom. I'll walk through and show you guys a little bit of that in a second. But anyway, this is the foyer area. Matter of fact, if you see this box right here, we added that because the bathroom is right above that and we had to add plumbing. So we ran our plumbing, our drain lines and everything through there, and the stack pipe all the way through the roof, and the water lines all the way down to the basement to connect to the main water line. But of course, someone just walking in wouldn't even have any idea. Why did we add a bathroom? It adds value to the house. Bathroom adds value, and also if someone was coming in and they were trying to rent, if they have children, they don't want to have to share a toilet if they have to. Now, this is not necessarily a world thing, and this is not everywhere in the United States, but this is most people in the United States. It's just how it is. And people are used to big spaces. As you can see, this kitchen, if you look up there, we did a lot of repairs. I know it's kind of hard to see. We did a lot of repairs. You can kind of look around the wall so you can see we did a lot of repairs because we had to tear out the ceiling and we had to re-pipe the bathroom up there. My brother does a lot of the plumbing himself, so that makes it a lot easier to make that happen. We're going to have to make this kitchen, add a few more cabinets to it, but the kitchen actually was pretty much intact. So we were fortunate there. I'm going to walk down to the basement so you guys can see what the basements look like. And excuse me, because I got to be careful as I walk. Anyway, this is the basement. Matter of fact, this is one of the new drain lines my brother had to run inside the house. But this is the basement. We got the furnace to heat up the house. We got one hot water tank to heat up the water, of course. We got the electrical panel. It's open because I do most of the electrical myself. And I was adding new breakers and make sure there were no problems in the electrical panel. We had to waterproof the basement because there was water coming in all over the basement. We had water coming in around here. You see that new block that we laid there? We had water coming in there. These walls are really old. Remember, I said this house was built in about 1920. So it's held up pretty well. As a matter of fact, you guys can see the brick. See the brick? This is up underneath. This is actually the porch and the outside wall, the first outside wall. So that's all brick. And as you can see, this is all, a lot of times to waterproof it, they had to keep on adding cement and keep adding cement. We even had to add some cement down here. Once again, to do some waterproofing. This bathroom happens to have, this house happens to have another bathroom. Well, it's just a toilet, which is cool though, because you can come down here and we're going to put a sink over here to make sure that people have the opportunity, if they had to use the bathroom and didn't want to go all the way up to the second floor to use the bathroom, they don't have to. So we bought this abandoned house, just so you guys know, in USD. I got a great deal in St. Louis, Missouri. And I don't want to sound arrogant or anything like that. They're out there. I don't want to make it sound like, oh, that's nothing. But in the U.S., some of this is not a lot of money. It just is what it is. But of course, our prices are higher. So I don't want to sound arrogant, but I only paid $20,000 USD for this house. That's even cheap in South Africa. Yeah, 20,000 USD for this house. Now, when I'm done with this house, our expectation is to pull in hopefully right around between $1,000 and $1,200 a month. I'm expecting $1,200 a month, which is cheap for anybody in the United States. You fairly inexpensive compared to most of the country. As a matter of size, this is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath now, or 2.5 bath. Would probably be around, it'd probably be $2,500. Maybe even $3,000, depending on what city or state you're in. It can get that expensive. I see there are a couple more people. Please make sure you press the like button for me, because I am trying to get the algorithm up, and I don't get a chance to come on very often because I'm a regular working dude, and I'm not a YouTuber. I'm not an influencer. That's why I just give it to you guys raw, tell you what's going on. So I need you to like these videos. I need you to make comments. because I want to get information. I'm on YouTube for information because actually you guys have given me more information than I ever would have gotten by doing a search on Google. So like these videos, make small comments. I don't care if it's just like, hey man, thanks for the content. Make a small comment, okay? I'm gonna go back to what I was doing, I digressed. But anyway, this used to be a dining room, you guys. This used to be a dining room, and we turned it into a bedroom. I see somebody said that's a lot of money. Yeah, see, that's why I said I don't want to make people think that I'm being arrogant or anything. But in the U.S., 20,000 is no money. In the U.S., you can't even buy a lot in most places in the U.S. for $20,000 USD. You can't even buy a freaking lot. I mean, you really can't. And there's nothing there. And I'm talking way out in the wilderness where there's no water and electricity. It's hard to buy a lot for 20,000. But anyway, like I said, this used to be a bedroom. This wall behind me where that window is, this wall was completely torn out. You could basically see outside of this wall because the brick was exposed. It had water damage for so many years because the roof had been leaking all down the concrete walls. It gets really cold here in St. Louis. It can get down to zero Fahrenheit. So really, really cold where everything is freezing. And what happens is the water will roll down these homes. The water get behind the brick. And then if it freezes before, it has a chance to go all the way down to the basement and leak in the basement, it expands, ice expands. So it pushes the brick out. And when the brick gets pushed out, guess what? The brick falls and it exposes everything. And you can see right inside the house and walk inside the house. So we had to build a new wall here. We added a closet here because this house was originally a 2-bedroom. So we added a closet because you need a closet in order to be a legitimate bedroom here in the States, at least here in Missouri. You have to have a closet and you have to have so many square feet, okay? So I see somebody who said, I built a rental property business for like 400,000 rands and it's giving me like 20,000 every month. So 350,000 rands, I can make a very, very good use with it. You know what? I need to hook up with you because I'm glad you said that because my wife and I are really seriously considering what we're going to do as far as making an income while we're in South Africa without really working for the income. Because, if we're going for a retirement visa, you're not really allowed to work, not a job or anything like that. It doesn't mean I can't have a business because people have businesses that they're not going to sell and give up, but we have to show income from certain sources. And so make sure you email me. My email is mrdarrenbuckner@gmail.com. And I'll put that down in the description later on, or I'll answer your comments and I'll make sure I put it back down in the description. Anyway, this is the living area. Like I said, it had a fireplace. As you guys can see, it's a hot mess in here. And this is just some of our tools. We had tools going on. We closed off this wall. There's a really big window here. Old stained glass window. This is I don't think you guys can see it, huh? You can probably see a little bit of the color here. Let me turn this light out and see if it'll help. No, you can't really see it. But anyway, there's a stained glass window here all the way from 1920. Same original stained glass. I'm going up the steps now. So yeah, you got to go up to the second floor. And I'm again, this is important that we talk about this because I want you guys to understand the sacrifice. And this for my African American brothers and sisters. And even for my fellow African brothers over there that think we just got it going on in the U.S. There's a lot of sacrifice that goes into this in order to make it. And in order to get to Africa and be able to retire, it's a lot of sacrifice. It's not easy. Okay, I want to just make that clear. It is freaking not easy. It is hard. And so I want you guys to know that we have to go through a lot. My family is in Florida. You guys know that. I haven't seen them aside from video. Thank God for technology and video chat. I haven't seen them in almost 2 months now. And they're okay though. We got to get them used to this whole thing because we're going to be in South Africa. I may be traveling back and forth a lot, dealing with properties, buying properties, flipping properties because this is what I did anyway. So that's why I'm making this video. So again, if you are just coming in, I only see 2 likes. I want all 8 people, or however many people on here. I need all of you to like the video right now. So stop what you're doing and press like so we can get the algorithm going. I really appreciate it. And I really appreciate the comments that you guys are making, because that helps YouTube to see that people are watching the video, and it will make sure that other people get an opportunity to see it so they can get this information. Again, my name is Darren from Buckner Family Travels, and I'm talking about how we're going to get to South Africa and what it's going to take to make the money to be able to sustain ourselves in South Africa and to qualify for a retirement visa. Anyway, I'm going up, like I said. My brother is here with me. You guys probably remember my brother, Courtney, if you've been watching my videos. Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing? Hey, if you guys have been watching my videos, you guys remember my brother Courtney. He was diagnosed with multiple myeloma cancer, and he's recovering very well. And he came to St. Louis with me to give me a hand, and I really appreciate it. But I'll bring him in just real shortly after I show you this. This one has a bathroom upstairs. It's a big bathroom. It's a big bathroom, shower, you know, toilet, all that kind of good stuff. This bathroom was already here. This is a bedroom. I had to take a mattress because I'm sleeping in this room. Yeah, I'm sleeping here. It's freshly painted now. We painted it. We added new floors. As you see, the saws and the table saws and all that stuff behind us, because this is what we do. So we got all kinds of fancy tools. My brother's truck is parked in the back there, so we can keep an eye on it, because it's not the greatest neighborhood. I'll be honest with you. It's not a horrible neighborhood, but some would say in the U.S. it's not a good neighborhood. And, you know, hey, that's relative, because there are people that have been living in this neighborhood for 20 and 30 years, and they don't have a problem. So I'm not here to judge a neighborhood. I'm just here to share opportunities and give people ideas of things that you can do if you are American and you are trying to escape what I call now a sinking ship. So if you haven't been watching the reports and you've been seeing what's going on in the United States, we are on a sinking ship. As my brother likes to describe it, he calls it a slow-moving train wreck. The United States has had its time. It has done well, but Africa is now rising. It's Africa's turn to take over as some of the most dominant countries in the entire world. So we're talking Nigeria, we're talking South Africa, we're talking Ghana, we're talking Kenya, we're talking Tanzania, we're talking Niger, we're talking, you name it. These places are growing, and they are growing fast. Africans have the largest population growth in the entire world right now. They have the youngest people in the world right now. So that's something to be proud of. If you heard me, give it another thumbs up, hit the like button, hit the heart. So if you believe that, and you believe it to be true, and you are African, hey man, guess what? It's time. And I'm going to make sure I'm there for it, because I want to be involved. I don't want my son to get left behind in a slow-moving train wreck where we got banks crashing and all this, you know, this monetary system on this U.S. dollar. I don't want to be here for it. I want to be on the emerging end of where things are happening. And things are happening in Africa. And guess what? For you guys that live in Africa, hey, I know you got challenges. But guess what? One thing you don't want to be on, you don't want to be on a slow-moving train wreck. You'd rather be on the train that's being built. The train that's being built. Even though that train has problems and it's going to have construction issues and delays, trust me, you'd rather be there. Because when you start having bank crashes like we do here in the U.S., we don't have what Africa has. Africa has the gold. Africa has the silver. Africa has the cobalt. Africa has all these minerals, and they have all the natural resources that feed the entire world. So trust me, you don't want to be in a place that don't have that. I heard someone say, yeah, we'll be at war again. As you can see, it started in Ukraine and Russia. And of course, we're hearing a lot of stuff about China being involved in a lot of this, and the U.S. is having major conflict. I feel like we're going back to the Cold War status. This is the other bathroom, by the way. We added a shower. It's a mess right now. This is where we sit and watch TV. Toilet's not installed yet, but vanity. So it's a big bathroom. Okay, so this is the second bathroom we added. Once it's painted and all, you're going to love it. But all the natural resources are in Africa. So the fight won't be in Africa. In our next wars, the fight will be over Africa. So if I'm going to be someplace, I want to be somewhere where they distributing the goods and deciding and making decisions like, yeah, well, maybe we can give you some oil, maybe not. Maybe we can give you some natural gas. You got to give us some money. You got to give us this. We don't want your U.S. currency. We don't want your whatever currency. We want this. This is what we want our currency. Kenya was just talking about how they're running out of U.S. dollars. I'm starting to think that's by design and not by the U.S. I think it's by the Kenyan government because it's not benefiting them to have the U.S. dollar because the U.S. dollar is on decline, in case you guys did not know. That's just a reminder. The U.S. dollar is on the decline. So with that in mind, Kenya says, hey, you know what? You got to pay us in shillings for some of the stuff that you have. That's what they're aiming towards. So they're going to have to get their people used to it. It's going to be tough getting rid of the U.S. dollar. Ghana is doing the same thing. They've been talking about it at least. They haven't implemented the process yet, but they are talking about it. If you haven't heard about countries like Iran, if you haven't heard about countries like Iraq and Saudi Arabia, and all of these countries joining BRICS, that's right. They're joining BRICS, and I see someone brought that up. They're joining BRICS so they can form this world alliance of not only military might, but also money might. They're tired. These countries are tired of the United States controlling economies and putting sanctions on countries all the time, and they're using the U.S. dollar as a weapon. They're weaponizing the U.S. dollar, and guess what? I think the world is starting to respond. It's starting to backfire. And guess what? Every country in the world that has been an empire, you have to go in history. So I know a lot of times we talk to people in South Africa and Tanzania and Ghana and whatnot. They say, oh, we got our challenges and blah, blah, blah. Oh, we coming to the West and blah, blah, blah. Hey, look, every empire goes up and every empire falls. There are many empires in the African continent that have come up and have fallen. You had British empires. You had empires in Portugal and whatnot. You had all these empires, Germany. You had all these empires in all different parts of the world. They were great empires at one time and they come down because everything, it's just like a universal law. Everything that goes up, it's got to come down one day. It's going to come down. And unfortunately, I think right now I am sitting in the belly of the beast. I feel it. I see it. I'm watching it. In case you guys did not know, for my fellow African brothers out there, they are predicting, now just think, they put this inside newspapers, and they put this in Time magazine, I think it was in Forbes magazine, that the average African-American family in the United States by the year 2050, their net worth will be zero. I mean zero. The reason why that's a big deal is because for me as a business owner, if my fellow brothers and sisters don't have any money, how am I have money? How am I going to have money if they don't have any money? I mean, tell me how that works. I run a business and they want to buy goods and they don't have no money. They said the average net worth of the family will be zero. The whole family. Do you understand how bad that is? This is done by design. Just like a lot of things around the countries in Africa and things in the Middle East, when they oppress folks, and that stuff is by design. This is not an accident. It's not an accident. So don't think that, oh, this is just us doing it to ourselves, because that's not true. The African American in America is not doing that to themselves. They built this country 100. They built this country as slaves. Their great grandparents and our great great grandparents, they built this place. So they will use terms like they're lazy. They don't want to do anything. Maybe they're just tired. Maybe some of them just tired. And the rest of them, they're working their butts off, steady trying to make it for their families. And then you put in the paper, say their net worth's going to be zero. You know why I believe it, guys? It's because I walk in some of these big giant grocery stores here in the United States and these big giant chain stores. We have the big Walmarts and whatnot, even the big Amazons and whatnot. They have these gigantic warehouses. My sister is like some type of supervisor at one of Amazon. She's one of the people that checks in product, and when there's a problem with it, she's the one that fixes the problem. And she said robots are starting to do all the work now. Well, I tell you what, when you go to Walmart and you go to The Home Depots, the big home improvement stores, guess what? They got self-checkout. They don't even need you to check them out. I can use my phone. I walked in the store last night and spent some money on some food. And I checked everything in my cart as I was walking. I go up to the register. Only thing they wanted to do was weigh some bananas for me. I put the bananas on there and it checked me out, used my card that was already in my phone, and I walked out the store. I didn't even go in the line, as a matter of fact. So I shopped, put everything in there, no line, no one scanning, so they didn't need anybody to ring me up like they used to. And when I say it's replaced jobs, it's replaced tons of jobs. We used to walk in Walmart and there'll be 30 registers open. Now there'll be 30 registers open, but only 2 of them have humans. So those are the jobs that African Americans were having. And these jobs are being replaced, and they're being replaced quickly by artificial intelligence and basically robotics and automation. It's something. So Africa's is on the rise, as someone just said. Africa's on the rise. And the reason why this is important, that you understand why Africa's on the rise, is because you have the power. Human capital is the best capital ever on the entire planet Earth. It is better than a computer. It is better than a backhoe that goes on a construction site. It's better than a scaffold. Look, men were building pyramids and they didn't have automatic cranes. They had human capital. And when you have human capital, you are the one building the technology. You are the one building these cranes. You are the one tearing down these cranes and recycling the metal to turn it into something else, turn it into a coin, turn it into a computer chip. So human capital is numero uno. So when you have the Bill Gates of the world talking about, the population's getting too big, the earth can't handle it. I don't know. That doesn't even make sense to me, because when I'm on the continent of Africa, actually even right here in the United States, there's so much land that is unoccupied, it doesn't even really make sense. It doesn't even make sense to me. So we got to make sure that we are on the rise, and we got to make sure that we understand that we are on the rise. We got to understand that we as a people have the power. So it's going to be up to the young folks. I'm getting a little old for it, but I definitely can preach about it. But there are a lot of folks out here, you're young folks, and guess what? You have the power. We are the innovators, as you said in Go Hard Gambia. We are the innovators. We are the innovators. We are the ones that create everything from toilets, yes, to traffic lights. Yeah, that was a brother right here in the United States. You know, you name it, we probably created it. It was a black woman that made sure that we could go around the moon. It was a black woman. She did that math right here in the United States. So the inventors of some of the fiber optic lines and computers, those are Africans. The sister who came up with one of the vaccines, I think it was for one of those companies, Moderna or something like that. That was a sister. So don't be fooled and think that what you're doing, it doesn't count. We are it. We are it, and they know it. So I want to make sure that you guys understand that it is sacrifice, and that's what I'm going through right now. And I'm going to spend I told you guys, if you didn't catch this before, I only spent $20K on this property. And like I said, it might not seem like a lot to some folks in the United States. But I know to some of my South African brothers and sisters, like they just said, that's a lot. But to generate that USD, it's hopefully can bring me in about $1,200 a month. And worst case, I sell it, and hopefully we can make $100,000. Who knows? And that's what's going to get us to Africa. Like I said, I didn't want to get off subject too much, because I came here to let you guys know what was going on, because I don't get to come on very often. But I want you to understand the sacrifice. So when you see my mattress on the floor, someone asked, does rental property? Yes, rental property income does count. It just has to be a certain amount, and it has to be passive income. Yes, that is. Now, pension is definitely one of the main ones that you use. That's what most people use. You got people retiring from the military and whatnot. You can use pension, and pension is the main one. But because I'm 50, I don't have pension yet. And by the way, if you working on pension and trying to wait till you're 65, you won't even get to enjoy Africa, because you're 65. Now, that's not everybody. I'm not saying you just can't. But why wait till you're 65? If you're 30 or 40 or you're 25 and you're watching this video, start now. Figure out other ways to get it done. Yes, rental income does count, and you can use rental income. It has to be documented. You have to show it consistently being deposited into your bank account, and it has to meet the requirements as far as monetary. It has to meet a certain requirement in order for it to count. And a lot of stuff has to be certified, from my understanding. We are literally going through the visa process right now, and we're putting all our documents together. That's my wife's job. She's taking care of that. And so, yeah, absolutely, rental income does count. That's why we are working on more than it takes in order to meet those requirements as far as financial requirements. Remember, it's 37,000 rands. I expect that to go up. I wouldn't be surprised in the next 4 or 5 years. Who knows, maybe sooner, especially if the U.S. dollar begins to devalue. So, if you are looking to do something like this, you better get started now, because this is not going to last forever. Okay. I'm hitting some of these lights, guys, because I see the reflection seems pretty bright. Anyway, guys, I wanted to come on for a minute. I can't stay on, but I'm hoping you I'm hoping you subscribe, and I hope you got a tidbit of what it takes in order to make it to Africa, in order to make it to South Africa. Because you may not be going to South Africa, but you may be going to Ghana or something like that, but you're going to need that income. You don't want to be going over there with $2,000 to your name, and then you think everything will work out, and it doesn't work like that, guys. I know some folks are on the spiritual journey and money doesn't matter, and that's fine. But I'm taking my family, and I got to make sure we straight. I got to make sure they don't have anything to worry about. I got to make sure we can enjoy Africa. So if I can use my USD power and sow into the community instead of taking away, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to put a couple of rentals together here, make sure I meet the minimal rental requirements. I am going to make sure that our company is doing well. We do have a hair care company, for you guys who don't know, and we have that on Amazon. But I want to make sure all that stuff is going well. But my main thing is going to be rental income, because they won't count my income from Amazon. They won't count my income from me doing homes for other people or even flipping a house. They won't necessarily count that income unless I can show a lump sum, a large lump sum in the bank, showing that I can cover for my retirement for 4 years. So if you can do that, yeah, there are ways around that. I'm not an attorney. I'm just giving you from what I understand, and what my wife, who's a very smart woman, understands of what you can do in order to qualify for a visa. But we are going to be getting with the embassies of South Africa, and we're going to get more information. And as I get that information, and as we move forward, I'll give you more information. I'm going to give you concrete evidence of how the process works and just what you have to do. But I do want you to know it's possible. It is possible. So if you are in the United States and you are looking to possibly get things going for yourself, then you should look into property. Property will work. Property will work. I see a brother said, it should be our duty as Africans to welcome those with no financial stability and welcome them as our brothers and sisters. It should not be about dollars. Man, I'm with you. Trust me. I hope the brothers do that. But we gotta deal with the government. That's just part of it. We gotta deal with the government. And the government wants to see this, and the government wants to see that. And that's why we need young people to run for office. Because the younger folks are going to be the ones who can change that. We can't really do much about that now. We have to go by what the rules and the regulations are in order to get to where it is we want to go. So young people, you guys are the one who have to change that, and that comes through legislation in your government offices and whatnot. And that's pretty much the only way that's going to happen. So we got to make sure that we take care of that, and I think that will be in the future. I know there are a few countries in Africa that you can get a passport, or you can get citizenship by descent. Maybe some of our other fellow African nations will begin to follow suit and see the power of bringing our minds together and bringing us all back together as a diaspora and as a born Africans of today. And when I say of today, I'm not talking about back in the past. I'm talking about like literally today, Africans that have been born on the continent and linking them up with some of the African Americans, the people from the UK, Brazil, wherever they might come from, because I know there'll be power in numbers. We should start welcoming more into Africa. Yeah, that's my opinion, but it's not my country. I'm going to be a guest, so I have to just keep that in mind. The U.S. doesn't seem to do it for anybody, so I can't be mad at South Africa because they won't do it. You got to have your paperwork together, and that's all it is to it. So I'm just here to give you guys information, especially like I said, my fellow Americans, my brothers and sisters who are looking to get property or looking to get a visa and want to move to the continent. One of the easiest ways is through real estate. Now, if you're in tech and whatnot, and you're working for somebody, that's cool. But remember, you're working for somebody when that can dry up. Excuse the noise in the background. That's my brother using one of the saws. That's cool, but that's also got to still keep in mind that they can always lay us off, just like SVP Bank. So if you're yourself and you're doing tech, that's cool. But remember, that's not necessarily what South Africa accepts, because that means you're still working, and that's not a retirement income. So when you do real estate, of course, rentals, that's a passive income. That's passive. So once I have this property together, I hire a property manager. A property manager manages the property for me. Sometimes they want whatever, 10%, sometimes less on the property, and they just want a certain amount of money every month to make sure that person's paying their rent, making sure the problems in the property, like if they have a plumbing issue, a backed up toilet or something, making sure that stuff is fixed. That's their job, and you don't have to really worry about that. And you just see the money land in your account every single month. And that's what the South African government wants to see. They want to see that you consistently have money landing in your account every month. I believe it's between 3 and 6 months of showing consistently that money lands in an account. You have to show lease agreements. They have to be lease agreements that are more, I guess, perpetual, something that can be renewed. And they're going to want things like from appraisers saying what these properties are worth, what's the potential income. So all this stuff, it's not just something that easy. You have to be legit when you show this stuff, because you want to have all this stuff notarized and stamped or whatever you call it. It has to be shown and proven that this is your property. It has to be shown and proven that this property, through licensed people, is worth this much, and you're collecting this much rent. They want bank statements. They want to see this stuff. So, these are still government entities, so they're not kidding around. You want to make sure you get it all. So that our job, my wife and I, we're making sure we are straight legit and we have everything that the people need. I see someone said, please make an updated video as to how your visa process goes. I am looking to qualify for rental income as well. Hopefully by this summer. Would like to have a list of items I'll need. What I'll do is I'll make sure I post the link so that way you can get the information. But a lot of this stuff is on the website, on their website. So if you go to a lot of the retirement visa and type in the South African government and their embassies, you can get a lot of this information. It is readily available, but I'm going to make it easy for you guys, and I'm going to make sure I put it down below in the description so you can just click it and it'll take you straight to it, because I definitely want to make sure that you have the opportunity to do what my wife and my family are doing, to make sure we get overseas and we get to escape this slow wrecking train, because the train wreck is coming. It's coming once again. It may not happen in the next 5 years or 7 years or anything like that, but it will come. It's coming, and it's coming quickly. As the BRICS people of the alliance comes and gets stronger. For you guys who don't know what BRICS is, it's an alliance between countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And now they're calling it BRICS Plus. As a matter of fact, I think in August, the next big BRICS meeting is going to be in South Africa. So again, this is a big alliance. It's a financial alliance. It's a military alliance. It's a banking alliance. It's an alliance to make sure that countries aren't squeezed out by sanctions when the U.S. decides that, if you don't follow what we're doing, we're going to put sanctions on you, and we're going to make it tough on your government. But really, they're making it tough on the people. And then they, oust governments and all that stuff and have you turning against your government because you think it's them. But a lot of times they're being squeezed. They're being squeezed, and they can't even help their people if they want to. And if they do help them, you end up in situations where people are struggling, and they're on the food. They have food insecurities and whatnot, and they won't let them sell their products, and it's really it's really important that we understand what's going on. And I see somebody said something about appreciate you talking about this and doing it legally. Yeah, they said we appreciate that you guys do your best to come here legally. We truly appreciate it. Yeah, that's the only way I'm going to do it. If I can't do it legally, then I'm not going to do it because I don't want to put my family in a situation where they're trying to figure things out every day. That's a struggle. I mean, there's already a struggle here for a lot of Black Americans. Not all Black Americans, but there's a struggle here already in the United States. So, I mean, why would I go from one place struggling to another place struggling? Now, if it was war and conflict and we were being bombed on, hopefully you guys would understand if brothers was jumping on boats and ships and planes and trying to get there because they'll feel like, hey man, this ain't none of my war. And the Chinese haven't done anything to me, or the Russians haven't done anything to me. And it's funny. I remember boxer Muhammad Ali said that back during the Vietnam War. He said the Viet Cong ain't done nothing to me, and they had done nothing to our community. He said they look like brown folks just like us. So so we want to make sure that we do it legally. And I see somebody saying these processes are designed to make it difficult for our brothers and sisters to return back home. They were taken against their wills and dumped into foreign lands. The way we return must be easy. I mean, I agree, and hopefully, like I said, our younger generations come up and they make it easier because it's up to them. They're the ones who are going to be creating the new policies. They're going to want to run in these new governments, and when they come from up under the thumb of these Western colonizers who have continuously made it difficult, making these false borders and making these false declarations and these false treaties, and it all in the time while they're colonizing our people. And then they put rules in place and they put rulers in place to keep us in check and keep us in line. And we know that if they don't do it, then we'll just get rid of him. I ain't gonna go into names, but we know it's plenty of them all around the continent of Africa. They have gotten rid of when they didn't do what they wanted them to do. So yeah, I feel you, but it's going to be up to the young people to do that. And me coming from, in this sense, a foreign land, coming from the U.S. going to Africa, I'm not going to be able to do that. I will be there, and I'm with the people. I'm going to support the people, and that's what it's going to be. So they will have my back as far as that goes. But unfortunately, a lot of us won't have any say-so when it comes to government policies and whatnot. We won't have any say-so because we're not from there. And I don't want to offend anybody anyway to act like, that I should have some say-so. Because you guys, just like, in the U.S., my grandparents, and even my mom, remembers riding on the back of the bus and couldn't go to the front of the bus. And my dad, when they couldn't go in certain stores, these are my parents. So it's recent to me too. Not as recent as 1994 in the South Africans, but you guys rose up out of that, and I can't take any credit for that. And I can't come in politically and trying to make statements, and I wasn't there for that. In 1994, I was in college, so I do remember it. I remember in our college, I went to HBCU. I remember we were protesting with you guys, but of course we weren't able to actually physically do anything. So what we could do is show our support. And just like the civil rights era here in the U.S., it's hard for anybody to come in and talk to my parents or my grandparents about what their struggles were and what they did when they marched and when they fought in riots and getting beat up and shot up by water cannons and sick by dogs and all that good stuff. But the truth of the matter is, we have a very, very similar background, and so we must support each other. So I agree with you, brother, when you say they should make it easy. Absolutely, they should make it easy for us to come over. But again, that's up to you. It's up to your children and your children's children to make sure that happens for generations later. And I see somebody just put a comment saying about BRICS. They're saying we need the BRICS trading bloc to boost economic growth in the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, single market. Oh my God, man. I believe it's going to happen. It's a matter of time. And once it does happen, hey man, it's on. It's on. So It's just on. That's all I can really say. Once Africa they start trading amongst each other, you can forget about them so-called borders, them borders made up by the colonizers. Hey man, it's on and popping because really Africa don't really need, as far as we don't really need the rest of the world. When I say that, I try and tread lightly saying that because, of course, everybody has something to offer. Whether it be, like right, for instance, the United States seems to be the leader in artificial intelligence technology. Okay, that's cool. All right, well, we need some of that technology. That's great, and spread that word around. And maybe Turkey. Right now, Turkey they're supposed to make some of the best drones in the world, and then of course there's DJI with China with some of the best drones in the world. Yeah, you need some more drones, and you need them made well. Yeah, you probably want to work with them a little bit. But here's the crazy part. The continent of Africa got so much to offer because there's nothing I can name that can be made without Africa. There's nothing that can be made without Africa. Did you hear what I said? There's nothing. If there's anybody out there watching right now, you tell me something that is made that doesn't need Africa. Give me something. Somebody said Congo alone produced over $3 trillion. Tell me one thing that can be made without Africa. Now, we're not talking about food. Yeah, you can grow food and avocados, and you probably can grow a couple mangoes, and you can grow a few coconuts in the Caribbean. But tell me what could be made without Africa? What in these new technologies can be made? What if Africa shut it all down? What if they say, well, we just gonna go to war? We all bond together. We shutting it down. What's gonna happen to the rest of the world? Do y'all know what kind of power the continent of Africa has? Do you know? Yeah. I mean, you can get your oil from Africa. You can get your food from Africa. You can get your sun. So if you need to make sure your solar is working, you got plenty of sun. We can produce electricity. Wind power depends on where you are. It doesn't matter, everything. So food, commodities, it doesn't matter. Even the technology and the minds, the most creative people in the world live on the continent of Africa. They live on the continent of Africa, or they at least come from the continent of Africa. And when I say come from, I'm talking about they're originally from the continent of Africa. They've been brought over on ships or whatever. These are brilliant minds. And you're right, brother, we just need to be organized. That's all. But guess what? That's coming. That's coming because every empire must fall. The United States is very organized. But so are the Chinese. So are the Russians. They organized too. Who's going to be the most organized? That's the question. Who's going to be the most organized? That's the question. We can all be organized. Did someone said something about we should be exporting carbon-free electricity. Wow. The fact that Africa can is crazy huge. Think about that. That's why, again, the young people, they're going to be the ones to make it happen. So we got to train our children to make sure that that's what we do. Someone said they want to buy, I want you, help me to buy the U.S. for around that amount plus your fee. Well, just shoot me an email. Just shoot me an email. What I'll do is I'll send you properties. I can't send you properties from all over the United States. I only can do from where I'm from. I'll tell you about some properties because I'm here in St. Louis, Missouri. I do stuff in Atlanta, Georgia, and now Fort Walton Beach, and we're thinking about tapping a little bit into Baltimore because my daughter wants some property in Baltimore. But if you shoot me an email, we'll connect somehow. Again, I'll put my email down in the link if it's not there already, but some of you have it. But again, if you haven't this video, because I'm going to end it, I'm almost at an hour. And look, guys, I got to sand these walls. I got to prime them because they're blue, and I got to make them a light color so the place looks bigger. Yeah, that's a builder's trick. We make the place look bigger, so we're going to have to prime them and paint them. It's got to be done today. Because I have a deadline I have to meet by the 1st of this month coming up. I want this place ready so it can be rented out so I can start bringing in that income or put it on the market depending on what they tell me the valuation is, what the, what it appraises at, put it on the market and see if I'll just make more money doing it that way. But again, so make sure you like, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to Buckner Family Travels, I need you to. I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers. I think I'm at 957, something like that. So if you haven't subscribed, subscribe now. Even if you don't watch me tomorrow, I understand, but subscribe, help a brother out. So just go in there and press the subscribe button. Like I said, I appreciate all the comments you guys have made because, again, these get the algorithms going. I literally watched this thing go from 0 to I don't even know how many watches. It wasn't a whole lot, but it got up in the 20s and it goes up and down. And I know that means a lot of people have been checking in and checking out. But, help a brother out. Go on in there and like the video and subscribe. Once again, remember, this is not about me. I'm talking about you and telling you what you can do. Okay? Because I'll get mine. I'm going to get it. I guarantee it. Because I'm just one of them kind of guys. I'm a confident dude and I believe that I can get it. But I want you to go with me. I want some folks to go with me. I want folks to come with me. I got to train up a son. I got a 13-year-old son. I got to train him up so he can be one of them powerful leaders. And I want him hooked up with some of the powerful brothers and sisters in Africa. I want him to marry him an African woman and make an African baby. That's what I want because I love my people. So y'all talk to a brother who love his people. And I'm talking about all around the world. So I'm just keeping it real with you. And I want you to know that my family is ready. They're excited about coming to the continent, and they're pushing me to make this happen. My wife is giving me a little release. She's telling me I'm working too hard, but at the same time, I know this is what she wants, and I want to make sure my wife is happy, and I want to make sure my son gets to where it is he needs to be. And I want my daughters, my grown daughters, they're grown, but I want them to be able to come over to the continent and have a place to visit. By the way, guys, neither one of my daughters, well, let me be quiet. I don't think, I think they in some of them, they in relationships. I got 2 daughters. But when I say my daughters are pretty, they bad, they pretty. So y'all must not see my daughters. Hopefully some rich brother over there will be like, oh man, Darren, let me meet your daughter. Because they smart too. They're real smart, very talented. They're not just, they ain't coming from no anybody. As you can see, my wife and my son, we about that life and we about that business and we about being business people and taking care of things. So again, guys,